This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for Tuesday, November 19, 2024. We're broadcasting to you on E1 SKAR TV NTN and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In headlines, an electrical contractor dies in an early morning accident involving trucks on Sheriff Street.
Only child, one from one left, nothing. When me child to start them, guide the pussy labor.
The Indian Prime Minister arrives in Guyana for a state visit. In Azerbaijan, the success story of Iwokrama is shared. And in sport, the Global Super League promises CPL party-like atmosphere at Providence, and CONCACAF Gold Cup qualification a motivating factor for Guyana's Golden Jaguars. With the news, I'm Vishani Raghavar. We're glad you can join us. Now, a 43-year-old electrical contractor lost his life tragically on Tuesday morning after he was struck down by an out-of-control truck on Sheriff Street, Georgetown. The truck and another were involved in a collision which resulted in damage to a nearby property. Sharda Bacchus reports.
I'm standing here on Sheriff Street, Georgetown, where a fatal accident occurred early Tuesday morning. The accident involved two trucks and resulted in the death of a 43-year-old electrical contractor identified as Carlton Smart. A nearby property and several vehicles that were in the vicinity at the time were also badly damaged. Initial reports revealed that one of the trucks collided with another at the intersection of Sheriff and Dennis Streets, Georgetown. Thereafter, one of the trucks crashed into a building along Sheriff Street, while the other struck down Smart before crashing into other vehicles along Sheriff and Dennis Streets. The accident was captured on nearby security cameras. Smart's death has left his family in a state of shock. His mother, Wilma Smart, spoke to the newsroom. She said she was expecting to see her only child on Sunday for a church service.
I saw him on the 2nd of November because I live in Linden. I spoke to him yesterday and I was expecting to see him on Sunday, but God has decided different. He was supposed to be coming for his church harvest. Normally in the morning would send to tell him good morning, whatever. And this morning I did before 6. And I end up, my grandson called me after 7. But he called from his father's phone, so I called him by name and I said, where is your father? He said, Granny is not new. I called my son name and he said, Granny is Jonathan, not Daddy. So where your father? He said, Daddy. I said, no, man, no, you make a joke. He said, I saw the father there, Tom Chopper, like, I think I have a play because I got a very, and I have a resident. From the time my son is in Georgia, so my son goes to the seawalls to exercise. And he didn't come back. He was going back home. I understand somebody said he just left them see going and buy a bread. Somebody saying like he heard and he started running, but the truck still knocked him. My child was always a careful child. Like I can't even tell you how I feel. Only child, one from one left, nothing. When me child to start them guide the pussy labor. How he wife making out the bills that the got an ambitious Guyanese child.
Police are investigating the accident. Reporting for the newsroom, Sharda Bacchus.
From grand celebrations to high-level talks, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be in Guyana from Tuesday night for a visit that is packed with significance, with a special emphasis on India's historic connection to the Caribbean nation. The newsroom's Kurt Campbell has filed this special report to take you through what to expect from Prime Minister Modi's visit and the lasting impact it could have on Guyana's future.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is embarking on a historic state visit to Guyana, the first by an Indian leader in over 50 years. The visit, lasting 3 days, kicks off with Modi's arrival at the Chedi Jagan International Airport. This landmark trip comes at a time when Guyana is experiencing a remarkable economic boom fueled by its oil wealth. And the visit will focus heavily on trade and investment as the two countries look to build on their growing relationship. With over 40% of Guyana's population having roots in India, including President Dr. Irfaan Ali, the atmosphere in Georgetown is electric. As anticipation grows, Modi's arrival is expected to be met with a warm and enthusiastic welcome. Streets are adorned with Indian flags, and billboards featuring the Prime Minister's likeness have sprung up across Georgetown. Authorities have also been busy enhancing public spaces, ensuring that everything is picture perfect ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. But this is not just a ceremonial visit. In fact, Modi will dive straight into business, engaging in high-level talks with the government of Guyana. He will also meet with other Caribbean leaders during the second India-CARICOM summit in Georgetown. But it's not all work, there is also a social side too. Yes, that's right. Modi will enjoy dinner with President Irfaan Ali at State House, and he will visit some of the most significant cultural landmarks in Guyana. One of these is the Indian Arrival Monument, which commemorates the arrival of the first Indian indentured laborers to the Caribbean. Another key moment will be his visit to the Mahatma Gandhi statue in the Promenade Gardens, where he will pay tribute to the father of the nation. Indeed, these symbolic gestures are rich in meaning. The Indian Arrival Monument and the Gandhi statue reflect the deep historical and the cultural ties between India and Guyana, ties that stretch back to the 19th century when Indian indentured workers arrived to work on sugar plantations after the abolition of slavery. Prime Minister Modi's visit also marks a significant diplomatic moment. It is the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Guyana since Indira Gandhi in 1968, just 2 years after the country gained independence from Britain. Modi and the Guyana government have called this visit a special occasion, pointing out that Guyana was chosen as the landing point for this regional tour due to the strength of the Indian diaspora here and the important role they play.
So we have a strong military cooperation going on, so that will be definitely something we'll be looking to talk about and expanding. Support in agriculture, agro-processing, transfer of technology there. SMEs, building out SMEs and to see how they can help us to develop SMEs here. Manufacturing and industrial development, energy, climate and environment. Those are things that are going to be on the table for discussion.
Over the next 3 days, Modi will meet with President Dr. Irfaan Ali, take part in the floral tribute at the Gandhi statue, and make a major address to the Guyana Parliament. He's also set to sign important bilateral agreements, which are expected to pave the way for greater collaboration in sectors like energy, agriculture, and technology. With the world watching, Prime Minister Modi's visit to Guyana is truly historic, marking the dawn of a new era in India-Guyana relations. We will be following this visit closely at the newsroom and will bring you all the key developments. Stay with us for more on this exciting story. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Kurt Campbell.
We tell you now, with children globally forced to face inhumane conditions, President Dr. Irfaan Ali on Monday said discussions are needed to change the policies that govern the protection of children. Addressing a ceremony held to observe the 35th anniversary of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, President Ali said Guyana has seen tremendous improvement in relation to the rights of children. However, he was keen to point out that support and protection for children are collapsing around the world.
Here in Guyana, we have seen tremendous improvement in relation to the rights of the child. Taking into consideration we are coming from an era where our children did not even have access to nursery education, primary education. They did not have access to health care. They did not have access to so many important necessities. Important to the rights of the child is also the parents and how society and the economy and the country caters for the parents. Parents are also, guardians are also accounted for in this equation of the rights for the child. That is why we have to invest in creating opportunities. Because if we have stronger families, we'll have stronger communities. If we have stronger communities, we'll have a stronger country. So these are all important aspects of what I think are key in developing the entire ecosystem surrounding the rights of the child. The convention is enshrined in the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. On this 35th anniversary of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, Guyana reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the principles and rights enshrined in this landmark treaty. The CRC's preamble underscores that children should be nurtured in an environment imbued with peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity. How can we sit and stand here consciously with a clear conscience today as we mark this 35th anniversary? And none of us, or all of us collectively, are not willing to face the truth and the reality. That is, the system is broken. The support for children is collapsing around us, and more children are plunging into an environment of indignity in which their peace is disrupted, their mental health is destroyed, and their hope of a beautiful future is unraveling just before us. We need to separate children and find a mechanism to protect children under various circumstances. The realities for children around the globe. It's a reminder of the work that lies ahead of us. It's a reminder that for the attributes of peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity to be achieved, the system has to change.
When the newsroom returns, we tell you about a single mother embracing farming and entrepreneurship, and the Iwokrama's story is shared at United Nations Climate Talks in Azerbaijan. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. Jennifer Jeffrey serves hot, delectable dishes at the Red Tent Barbecue and Fish Shop at the Supernam Waterfront, Essequibo Coast. Her food shop is a venture that helps her make ends meet, but many might not know that she also toils away on a farm, also in Supernam, growing much of what she sells. After working for years as a teacher in seamstress, immersing herself in agriculture and entrepreneurship, that's now how she spends her days, at least on the professional front. For her, more women should get into farming and entrepreneurship. Jennifer Jeffrey is a woman of many hats. She's a single mom who worked as a seamstress and a teacher. She now embraces agriculture and business, a strenuous dual pursuit that helps her make ends meet.
Started farming a couple of years ago. That was for like household use, but then the business opportunity came. Since I finished, when I was finishing school, I did business. So I had this entrepreneurial mindset from then. So every business opportunity I would look at and try to grab at. So this is where I landed now, and the farming has, cooperated into the business. All right, so mainly I cultivate plantain. This is for my business, the fish shop and the barbecue business. So my produce from here I use at the shop. The fruits, right now we have sorrel. I would use those to make juice, drink. The excess I would sell. Yeah, so and more recently we reaped some pawpaw and bananas and peppers. I use pepper for the business also.
Jennifer is one of several farmers, be it women, youth, or vulnerable men, benefiting from the Sustainable Agriculture in the Caribbean project. The project is implemented by the World University Service of Canada and focuses on empowering vulnerable groups. For Jennifer, she has learned a lot about improving her farming and adapting to climate change.
What we would do also, we would use bottles, fill them up, bore the hole, adjust the cork so it could, but it don't always work because then I would need help from my children to do that, and so they have to go to school, but it's a task in the morning before they go. And for the wet season, we have drains, yeah, but we still need some more work done for that. So for some crops we can't plant during the wet season because of water. So what I plan to do early next year is embark on a shade house project so I could rear, throughout the year.
Agriculture is a huge part of Ghana's diversification plans. Growing more food regionally is also part of a Guyana-led plan to help slash the Caribbean community's hefty $6 billion annual food import bill. Jennifer is one of many farmers capitalizing on the focus on agriculture, pushing past challenges.
I've been able to gain knowledge and some amount of training, right, as to how to overcome these challenges from the organization that's us. Yeah, and so I've been working on that. Like, I plant crops that does not require so much attention, like for example the plantain and the sorrel. Yeah, I just plant those and take care of them from time to time, but they don't require everyday attention. Yeah, so that's about it. As for my seasoning, I keep those close to me, my kitchen garden. So a little time back we planted some peanuts down at the back, but again we had to leave that because of the animals.
She also has her mother, Margaret Roberts, helping her too. Together, they trek through the farms and do the strenuous work needed to grow more food.
The real value of farming is all about it's a good foundation for your system is one. That's why I'm trying to go in now. I want to do it as a business.
Margaret also spent some years farming to feed her family and selling food, much like Jennifer's pursuits now. And she too hopes her farming venture will expand beyond satisfying their household and small business needs.
I must be able to have mini bus, them people, them cantons so line up there to get, that is my vision, to get produce on a special day of reaping or harvesting.
As the mother and daughter dig into the venture, Jennifer hopes many more women will embrace agriculture like she has.
I know it is challenging. It is very challenging. Sometimes I barely, in the evening, I barely make it to bed. You have to get up first thing in the morning. Like, as soon as I jump off my bed, it's work. I barely get time for myself. But, keep holding on to that bit of hope and plant.
Reporting for the newsroom, Vishani Raghabir. As developing nations hold a collective breath on the new climate finance goal at the 29th United Nations Climate Change Conference, a profound message reverberated. That is, take what you need and leave the rest for future generations. These words, spoken by Michael Williams, the Tushao of Anai in Ghana's North Rupununi region, captured the purpose of the high-level Commonwealth event that celebrated the success of the Iwokrama forest and is underscored the indispensable role of indigenous knowledge in combating climate change. The event featured the premiere of a short film produced by the Commonwealth Secretariat in partnership with the Iwokrama International Center for Rainforest Conservation and Development. That film, Take Only What You Need, the success story of the Iwokrama forest, highlighted how the integration of indigenous wisdom with modern science can foster sustainable livelihoods and economies. Here is a look at the film.
This forest is the heartbeat of our people. We protect it as we would our own family, for it holds our stories and our future. What we are conserving in Guyana is for the entire world, and it's a global asset. A lot of people recognize the values rainforests have. Global air conditioner, the lungs of the earth.
Indigenous peoples and their knowledge is at the heart of Iwokrama's projects and activities because we recognize that we cannot do it alone. We do everything to honor and respect Indigenous peoples and their contribution.
The forest for my Indigenous people is their livelihood. We depend on the forest. That is where we get our food, our medicinal plants, our medicines. The forest has taught us that we must care for it because we have spiritual beliefs. We believe that the trees that are there, the animals that are in the forest, the waterways that are in the forest are spirit.
We, as the indigenous people, are proud to be who we are. We maintain our culture. We maintain our traditional way of living.
We have signed a document with Iwokrama, collaborative managed agreement, that both of us, we are stakeholders and we should use it and maintain it as it is for our future generations.
We co-manage practically 1 million acres of this tropical forest in collaboration, in partnership with indigenous communities who've been using this forest for decades. They're involved in the monitoring, the management, the implementation of projects, and generally in all our activities. And in terms of decision making, they're part of that process as well. So we're true partners.
But these local communities have a ton of wisdom and knowledge that actually can really be packaged into very good conservation models.
Indigenous people's knowledge is considered unparalleled compared to modern scientific knowledge.
People say use, not abuse. That's the philosophy of the community. Take what you need and leave the rest for future generations to come.
We're seeing wonderfully how children who've started off as little kids learning about the flora and fauna, the biodiversity of this environment in which they live, and how they are able to move up along that ladder and become Tushaus, which are chiefs in their villages, helping them to support their livelihoods and continually manage these beautiful forests which we are blessed with.
New education materials developed to help pupils. This and more stories when the newsroom returns. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. Mount Roraima has been explored many times. It serves as the tri-junction point between Guyana, Venezuela and Brazil. It was once thought that the highest peak is from the Venezuelan side, but explorer Charlie Bicknell is now claiming otherwise. He has undertaken the grueling climb up of Roraima's face from the Guyana side and ascended a peak way higher than what was recorded on the Venezuelan side. He shared his story with the newsroom.
It's between 40 kilometers squared and 50 kilometers squared, according to estimates. And so that slice, that almost like a pizza slice of the mountain that belongs to Guyana, is relatively uncharted and unknown. And so I wanted to go to that piece of the mountain which belongs to Guyana and actually find in that piece where the tallest point is, where no one has actually documented or actually done any investigation. So I brought 3 different instruments with me. I brought my GPS watch, my GPS phone, and also a barometer which measures air pressure and therefore gives you the altitude. And our first objective was to actually see which point of Guyana looks the tallest. Once we established, using videos and just looking with our eyes, which of the rock structures looked the tallest, the next mission was to go and climb it. So with a drone on a particular rock structure, we looked for the best route of access. So we reconnaissanced the route and then went and climbed it with climbing equipment and gear. Then, once we were on the tall point and we could see we were on the tall point of the mountain, which has a view over the top of everything, I wanted to make sure and I wanted to test to ensure that it was indeed the tallest point. And the way I did that is I had a drone and I flew the drone to some other peaks which looked like they might compete with a similar altitude to this point that we had climbed. And using the barometer of the drone, which is relatively precise, we could see if there was a difference in altitude. I would fly the drone at the same altitude to a different peak, and I would see if there was a difference between the altitude between the drone and this peak and the altitude between where we were on our point, all at the same altitude. Other than just seeing that we're clearly taller. So I wanted to be extra sure, and so I used the drone, but we could already see we were on the tallest point of the labyrinth, right? It's been exceptionally interesting so far, and I think it will make some nice viewing. I mean, I've had a very interesting personal journey. I was a medical student and I was expelled from medical school, and I was really lost in life and very down. And this goal of climbing the 12 mountains of South America was a dream that I had from over 10 years ago. And as the years have gone by, no one has actually completed this challenge, and I used it as an objective, as an aim, and it's really kept my head above water and given me something to do every day with my life. And so still, years later, no one had achieved this challenge, and I decided I must try with all of my power to try and do this adventure and do this challenge. And so I've documented so far everything on my cameras, and I would like to make a documentary about this challenge, about the 12 mountains. There's nothing like Mount Roraima anywhere in the world. The top of the mountain is all sorts of crazy shapes and faces and creatures carved into the rocks, and I think, if I'm not wrong, it's something like the top of the Roraima has been exposed to 500 million years of erosion. So there's all these unbelievable shapes on top of the mountain and all of these crazy canyons and valleys. And so just being on top of Roraima is a unique experience. Just looking at Mount Roraima is a unique experience. There's no other mountains like it anywhere in the world. So it's a very special moment to actually find the tallest point on Mount Roraima and the tallest point of Guyana.
The Minister of Education, Priya Manik-Chan, on Tuesday announced the launch of concise study notes for social studies and science subjects, specifically designed for the National Grade 6 assessment called NGSA. The notes are currently being printed to be distributed across the country, but Minister Manik-Chan acknowledged that the process takes time due to public bidding. In the meantime, the study notes are available on the Ministry of Education's website.
Here addressing particularly primary school children and parents and teachers of grades 4, 5, and 6, and we brought out a beautiful new resource that I want to introduce to you. There is the concise notes for NGSA social studies, and then there is concise notes for NGSA science. And what this does is puts all that heavy notes that your children usually get, exercise book upon exercise book, into a concise form. So if they know this and they answer questions in and around these notes and they understand these concepts, they're bang on ready for those exams. And so this is relevant to grades 4, grade 5, grade 6, all across the country. Now we are printing these, but printing processes take long because we go to public bid and that takes a while, and then people take a while to print. These are also available on our website. We're going to drop the link for you on this video, and you're going to get to see that. I'm encouraging you all to use it, and I tell you, if you use these and you use them effectively, your children will be ready for the social studies and science exams for NGSA. So please use them. I took great pleasure in making sure these were done because this is the kind of thing.
Apart from robust monitoring and management by authorities such as the Government Food Analyst and Drug Department and the Guyana Bureau of Standards, President of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kester Hudson, has urged citizens to speak out on the issues of expired goods in mainstream supermarkets throughout the country and other breaches of regulations.
Members of the Chamber would have shared with the council and execs that, look, we've been experiencing some challenges when we go to shop with our families. You recognize, once you identify a product you want to purchase, the labeling is not in English, is expired, it's not being well kept, and there's some regulatory and issues once you walk into a supermarket. And they should have some regulations, strict regulations when it comes to operating a supermarket. From a standardization standpoint, it should be in place. You travel, you go to supermarkets abroad, and you recognize that they're properly labeled, they comply with international standards. Grouping of products, you shouldn't have, because it's a health issue too. We have hazardous materials or products in areas where our products for you to consume. We want to encourage citizens to speak out, bring to light what these challenges are, we consider challenges, and for us to really find the respective agency that is responsible for monitoring and enforcement and address it. We demand a certain, Guyana is growing very rapidly, and so we demand a certain level of quality, service and products, and that's what we're requesting.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and bridge reports along with sport news with Avinash Ramzan. I'm Vishani Raghavar. Please stay with us.
Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some football news. The acting head coach of the Guyana Jaguars, Wayne Dover, has indicated that qualification to another Gold Cup is another dream of the team. Still, there are other vital fixtures they must put to bed to reach that summit again. First, they will face Barbados in a return fixture this evening. After the last tie, they have a 4-1 advantage. This puts them 1 foot in the Gold Cup prelims set for June 2025.
Last year, you would have gotten to the Gold Cup prelim. What would it mean to get the guys back in the prelims and hopefully can go further?
Well, it means a whole lot for us, the nation, the GFF, and the guys are looking forward to it. So definitely we'll work hard to ensure we cross the line on Tuesday, and get ourselves back in the Gold Cup, which will be a consistent line of qualification for the team.
Given a substantial advantage headed into this fixture, the Golden Jaguars are practically back in the Gold Cup preliminaries. In 2023, they defeated Grenada and then lost to Guadeloupe, which dashed their hopes of qualifying for the main draw of the Gold Cup. The quarterfinal winners of the 2024-2025 CONCACAF Nations League A will automatically qualify for the Gold Cup. The third and fourth place teams in League A will qualify for the Gold Cup preliminary round, which will take place in June 2025, while the fifth and sixth place teams of each group will advance to the playing round, where they will face the top four teams in League C for the last four spots in the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup qualification. Guyana qualified for the main draw in 2019 and finished third in a group that included the United States of America, Panama, and Trinidad and Tobago. Guyana's presence in the play-in is due to the winless run in League A of the Nations League.
Now, the ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League is exactly 1 week away from a historic bowl-off at the National Stadium, Providence. The first standalone T20 competition in South America is set to feature 5 franchises: the Guyana Amazon Warriors, Hampshire Hawks of England, Lahore Qalandars of Pakistan, Rangpur Riders of Bangladesh, and Victoria of Australia, battling for $1 million. All 11 matches will be played in Guyana from November 26th to December 7th. On Tuesday, I caught up with the director of the tournament, Jamie Stewart, who encouraged Guyanese to grab the opportunity to be part of something special.
I would say to all the cricket fans in Guyana, the Global Super League, the ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League, is making history. We're making history here. You can be part of that history making. Urge you to be there on the 26th. Let's show the world a full stadium. Show the world how much Guyana people love cricket and how much they love supporting their Warriors. You're going to have the same party atmosphere, party experience as you have with the CPL. And, this one is a moment in time and a big moment in time. And, we would really welcome your support.
Now, President of the Guyana Cricket Board, Bisundayal Singh, has labelled the inaugural National T20 League a tremendous success, noting that the tournament, powered by Betcage Sports in its first year, has great potential. The league, featuring 6 franchise-based teams, concluded on Saturday last with the Anthony Adams-led Essequibo Anacondas defeating Essequibo Jaguars, led by Ricardo Adams, in the final at the National Stadium, Providence. After the game, Singh spoke to media operatives. The league represents a significant development in Guyana's cricketing landscape, offering a competitive platform for local talents to shine. The league featured 6 franchises, each comprising 15 players along with a dedicated manager and coach. In total, the tournament provided 90 players with the invaluable opportunity to showcase their skills on the national stage, with matches live-streamed by FL Sport. The selection process was meticulous. It involved creating a player pool from which the team captains and the chairman of the selection panel conducted a draft. Singh, in reflecting on the competition, touched on the progress that was made both on and off the field.
The tournament itself, this is 120 players, draft a 90 draft from that, and coming out of it, you could see a lot of people, a lot of talent in Guyana, and we may need to harness this talent, put in a structure, and move forward to better our cricket in Guyana. The thing also is that we get to see the players overall, not only on the field, off the field, the way how they operate, and the biggest thing is the unifying factor with what's happening in Guyana and bringing everybody to one Guyana. This tournament is the first, but going forward, you will see a lot of changes for the better. And so Guyana, look forward for that next year.
With the backing of President Irfan Ali, the league was aimed to enhance the nation's overall cricket structure, with the head of state committing the prize money and trophies.
Let me express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Robert Washington, the CEO for Betcage Sport. I met with Mr. Washington last year in Miami, and we had extensive discussion, and he agreed to come and sponsor. It's not cheap. His sponsorship is $100,000 US. The entire tournament is 25 million Guyana dollars. Secondly, I'd like to also express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency, the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. Very cooperative. He was the man who made us got the stadium, and he also presented all the prize money. And we wanted to use the One Guyana brand, and right away he said, yes, go ahead and use it. And everything we asked, beyond this T20, the Guyana Cricket Board, we have a very close relationship with His Excellency, and he's very cooperative and helpful.
According to Singh, the tournament had its fair share of challenges, something he said would be addressed to make the 2025 competition better.
We would have liked to play on more grounds, but simply availability was a problem. And we were kind of limited with some of the things, minor things like transportation and so on. as it is. Anything new must have teething problems. But fortunately, the teething problems are very, very small. Overall, we're very, very happy, excited that this was a really good tournament for the Guyana Cricket Board and for the players. I think it's a good thing for all Guyanese. I see this developing in a few years as a major event because it's 100% Guyanese.
For the win, Anaconda received $1.7 million Guyana dollars, while Jaguars pocketed $500,000 and Pitbulls $200,000 for finishing third. The Finance Minister, Dr. Ashni Singh, has re-emphasized that the government of Guyana will continue to support motorsport development in Guyana, given the ambitious plan to make Guyana the hub for motorsport in the Caribbean. In 2022, a strategic partnership between the government and the Guyana Motor Racing and Sports Club expanded the track to 1.6 miles. Currently, efforts supported by the government are being made to improve facilities for spectators.
I want to say to the GMRSC, and I know I'm speaking on my president's behalf in this regard, I want to say to the leadership of the GMRC, present right now in the person of Mr. Boudou, the president of the club, you have in this government led by President Irfan Ali, you have in this People's Progressive Party government a committed partner in this mission to make Guyana the motor racing capital of the Caribbean and to put Guyana on the world map for motor racing. You have in this government, you have in this president, a government that's committed to achieving that. You have now 8 internationally branded hotels that are being built out. During the course of the next 15 months, we're going to add perhaps about 3,000 new hotel rooms, internationally branded hotels, Marriott's. You have a Marriott not far from here, the Marriott Courtyard at the airport. You have Marriott's, Hilton's, Hyatt Place. We just opened the Best Western. With private capital, mind you. Building out internationally branded hotels at a rate that's never been seen before. You have medium and small scale entrepreneurs providing services, mechanics, motor service companies, people providing entertainment, people providing food and beverages. I mean, you see the number of sponsors here, seeing this as an opportunity to showcase their goods and services. Let me say that sporting events, experience tells us around the world that sporting events are big business. You just have to look at Formula One around the world. You have to look at football around the world, cricket around the world. Sports is big business. And sports generate tremendous economic opportunities and economic multiplier advantages and effects. And we want Guyana, like every other major sporting capital, we want Guyana to harvest those benefits as well. So you're absolutely right, and you're seeing it here.
And to end sport, we tell you that the Georgetown Cricket Umpires and Scorers Association is proud to announce that 3 of its umpires have successfully completed the West Indies Cricket Umpires Association's Level 3 oral and practical examination. This achievement marks a significant milestone in their umpiring careers, qualifying them to officiate at all levels of cricket. The following individuals have demonstrated exceptional knowledge and skills in the art of umpiring: Chandraban Rajnarain, on the left, 94%, Dr. Nibert Blair, 90.5%, and Dr. Ronaldo Magarel, 89.6%. With the completion of this rigorous examination, these umpires will join the ranks of cricket officials who are capable of making accurate decisions in the face of high-pressure situations. President of the Georgetown Cricket Umpires and Scorers Association, Ryan Banwari, was thrilled at this fantastic accomplishment. He said, and I quote, "Our 3 members have increased the capacity for cricket officiating in Guyana. Their hard work and passion are an inspiration to us all. Congratulations to Mr. Rajnarain, Dr. Blair, and Dr. Magarel. We can't wait to see you excel on the field." End quote. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, and all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.